computer, yeah. Yay! Finally, this has been long awaited, and I have to get up off my bum, Eli, and do something. And I made a conscious decision, dear friend, brother, starseed, indigo, whatever you want to call yourself. I say just a beautiful dude. I said, you know what? If I'm going to get somebody on who's the younger generation, if you don't mind me saying, you're an adult, and you're far more than an adult. You're what's the word? You are spiritually aware and superior than your age, as I see you on your lovely organic followers on you're on YouTube. You've got, I think, 10,000 subs, and I think last time I looked was I think you got about 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. Let me just try and get this out, because these are the things that are important. You've done this all yourself. I see no mention or anything where you've tried to buy followers or just clickbait. You're a genuine soul who just wants to put out a good word there. So Eli, I want to welcome you with a big open heart, and I want to say thank you. I am a follower of you, and I'm a huge fan of your work, and I watch you most days. I'm always watching you, because the younger generation you are what we've got to come. So when I've gone, you're the ones who are holding that fort. You are the real global. They say in the term of the narrative of the black screen, young global leaders. You are a young global warrior, and you're the ones that I believe, people like you, are going to keep this world shining a light. So welcome, Eli. Thanks for being on. That was
Thank
long,
you,
wasn't
thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better intro. But yes, my YouTube is Universal Crystals also, by the way, because my real name is Eli. When I first started, I wouldn't even tell people my first name.
Yeah, that's a good.
Because it was kind of a transition in my life where I just like kind of was like getting rid of my old identity. I just felt like I needed to just change. So I just kind of started making these crazy videos, and I used to watch you like before I even had a YouTube channel. And it's kind of crazy. The first time I've ever been on someone else's channel is on your channel.
That's that. Let's go. Let's just go with that, Eli. You said at some point in your life that you wanted to let go of your name and go into something else. I think there's something in that with people who are aware and awake that their name isn't who they are, and to redefine yourself by not an actor who doesn't like his name and then changes it to another name, but more like what shows to me who you are is that you've said Universal Crystals. There's no ego in that. There's no ego. And you're not bothered about, who you are or changing your name, which for me is a beautiful thing. Did you recognize that yourself, or was that just natural how you felt?
Yeah, well, the name originally came because like the day before I made my first video, I went to this crystal shop and I bought, actually I have it on, but I bought blue kyanite. It's very
Love it. Yeah.
tiny, but
Yeah.
I
see it. Beautiful.
It was my first ever pendant. I got a small one because I didn't know what it was, because I just was like, I'm just gonna get a tiny one because it's not too flashy. I kind of was getting into spirituality and stuff at the time. So I like wanted to try crystals out, but I was like, I don't want to like be a crystal guy because to my ego that was like weird or something, or like demonic, or who knows. So but all the things people will say, right? But so I was going into it kind of like I don't know about this. And then so I got it, and when I got in my car, I like looked up what would be a good crystal for my birthday, and that happened to be the crystal that, like, whatever
Wow.
website I looked up, it was like the exact,
Wow.
I didn't even know what the name of the crystal
Wow.
was. I had
Wow.
to write it down like on my bag they gave me just so I'd remember. It was literally like the first time I ever really got into it. And so I decided I'm gonna name the channel Universal Crystals, and it kind of has like formed its own meaning over time. Like I don't even know if I really knew what it meant. It was just kind of like I liked the idea of like how there's like Universal Pictures, Universal Music Group, but we might as well make Universal Crystals to
Yeah, it's
actually be
brilliant.
a real force. I like the universal idea. And then, like, at the smallest form of water, I guess you could say it is a crystal in a way. And so maybe we are universal crystals as well. So it's
Brilliant.
kind of had a lot of layers to it, but it's like I just knew that crystals were real from that day. And I just like started feeling energy when I would do it. And I had a girlfriend at the time who didn't believe in crystals, and I handed her my first piece of moldavite, and she immediately started crying. And I was
Wow.
just like, "What in the world happened there?" And I would make her watch your videos about moldavite, which is crazy. Like we aren't together anymore. That was a that was my breaking point when I got moldavite. She was gone pretty much, but um, but
Oops.
I did. She knows who you are, and she probably will watch this. But it's just a full
Wow.
circle moment to like come in contact with you, which is like it's wild.
And can I ask how old you are, or is that too personal?
No, no, it's not too personal. I am 22. I know I look very young, but
No,
I
no,
I
you
am
look
still young at
22.
heart.
You look 22.
I
I
know,
don't
but
know what young looks.
I guess I've kind of grown up here recently, but
Hmm.
before I guess people always used to mistake me. I grew up my hair out a bit, so
Nice. You were,
yeah.
so do you feel that you were different from other kids?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I've definitely felt misunderstood my whole life. I still feel kind of misunderstood now because I feel like I have this side to me, but old people in my life, some of them don't even know I make these videos because I don't see these people, so I don't really have any reason to tell them about it. And some people that I do see, I don't even bring it up unless they were to ask me, I would tell them, but they just haven't seen the videos. So that is kind of a problem in my life that I'm trying to push through. I
Where,
know I just have to face.
where's the problem in that? I see that as free from ego, and I think that to me is a beautiful quality. So where do you see the problem?
I say I mean the problem is I've kind of been hiding my true self
Oh,
from.
that's a different.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. And
okay, yeah.
now I'm kind of stepping into, and I've been stepping into that by making my videos, but there's still the part of me that has been scared of what other people will think of it.
Or think of you.
Yes, me.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, the interesting thing about that is you're no different from many other. May I call? Are you okay with me calling you an empath?
Yes, yes.
Well, I see you as an empath. I see you as a sensitive, and I say that all the trademarks that you're telling me is something like I would say myself, and I think most empaths would say exactly the same thing. So I would say that is very a balanced approach, and it makes you who you are, and it makes you the perfect guide to help people, because most people just chase their tail and they don't even know, well, why is he even talking like that? I don't even understand what he's saying, because they've never been through that empathy, that sensitivity, where you and I and many of us never really, people never really understood. Me, it didn't really bother me that much. I don't know why. It never really bothered me. Only at certain times when something really awful happened and I got bullied and it was a heavy bully, then I used to get upset. But most of the time it didn't bother me. But I know a lot of empaths and sensitives that everything kind of bothers them because people just don't get them. The mother never get them. The father doesn't get them. Teachers don't get them. Do you feel a little bit like that, or are you supported by your parents? And, you know, if you want to go down that path.
Yeah, my parents are definitely supportive, but definitely early on in my life, I felt more misunderstood. I guess just because I've always hated the school system. Sort of, I just never was able to fall in line very well, and
Yeah.
that was my main issue.
Mhm.
Being that my mom was on the school board, so that
Oops.
that didn't help. Um, and so when I was a kid, you know, she wasn't on the school board when I was young, but then when I was in high school, she was. But even when I was younger, she was kind of involved at school, so she would know, you know, my teachers and stuff. And I always felt like I'm really not like these people. I'm not what they think I am, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with my life. I just can't do this. So I felt misunderstood, but at the same time, they definitely support me. My parents are very supportive. It's just kind of I don't really expect them to get me because it's just kind of a I don't know. I'm not I'm at peace with it really now. I used to guess be more concerned about people getting me, but now I'm just kind of it's whatever at this point because there's nothing I can really do about it. But
Well, that is, to a degree, there's nothing you can do about them. And they say that, you know, it's none of our business what they think and feel about us, which is a really a nice way of putting it. But it's still quite challenging when people don't get you and you're
oh,
trying
it
to,
is.
you're like, you know, oh, it's frustrating.
It
And it's like,
definitely
you
is.
know, am I meant to be on this planet, or is there another planet I should have been dropped off at? But they
Oh
say that we
yes.
choose our parents, right? They say we choose our life. Do you believe that to a degree, or do you think that's a misconception?
I think it is true. I mean, it seems more clear to me, or at least, you know, I didn't pick it as this human. I didn't remember it, but on a higher level, I think I did pick it, and then I chose to forget it so that I could remember it and like learn from that experience. But I feel most things in my life have kind of been aligning to where it just kind of makes sense that I had this upbringing, and it makes sense why like certain things happened to me because I wouldn't have found my true passion, you know. So
And what is your true passion at the moment?
uh really trying to help people because I feel like I'm one of the few people I see my age really this like outspoken about really spirituality or crystals or anything like this.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to make it, you know, acceptable.
Yeah,
But
almost like, you know, part of, we're trying to change reality so it sits better for our reality. Sometimes I think that's true to say. So is that selfish, or, you know,
yes.
like for me, it's like, as you get older, you'll realize you're not really that bothered about changing reality, but helping people see the reality that we are in, because we are slightly different from the larger group of people. But then that in itself could be a bit egoistic, because we all go through challenges no matter who we are, and we all have our awakening. So when did you feel, or have you always had this in-depth understanding that you look at life in a bigger picture, and you look at all aspects of every situation? Do you like not over analyze, but do you look at many things? And have you always done that, or as you've got older, do you find you're more deeper involved in what you're thinking and feeling?
I think I always have done it in some ways. I just didn't really realize that I was doing it
Yeah.
because it was like that was part of the reason I felt like people didn't get me was because I was so like overly skeptical about things or just like this doesn't make sense when I went to church for example like everyone else somehow like I can bond with say Christians on their faith but I can bond with atheists on their skepticism, because I'm kind of a mixture of both. So
Yeah.
I've always kind of had trouble with that. Like, I feel like I'm kind of a mixture of a lot of things. So depending on the setting someone met me in, maybe they only saw one side of me and they think I'm only that. And that
Yes.
kind of like bothers me, I guess.
Yeah,
Cause like
and you just said
I can't,
something that
yeah,
you have trouble. It's not really trouble. I don't see it as trouble. I mean, to me, trouble is when you just agree with things and you just get on with it. That's kind of big trouble to me. But when you see things for what they are and you follow that and it doesn't feel right, that means you're following your intuition, your guidance. So that to me is far from trouble. It's actually
yeah,
enlightening to me. So I met somebody a while ago who started helping me with words, and you probably already know this as well because you're probably really up to date with this. But words are like spells, and everything we say is really important. And I used to say all the time, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't do that. Or what, I'll never be this, or I can't be that. And then I realized that in itself is really powerful because that's what we're telling ourselves when we say it. Do you
yeah,
feel that
yeah.
too?
Yeah, I've been trying to do that as well, but also I guess more importantly, sometimes I know I will like maybe I will accidentally say something, but maybe now I kind of realize as long as I didn't have a real intention with it,
Yes.
then maybe it's okay, because if I don't actually believe I'm that, and I slip up and say something,
Great point. That's a
then it's
great
not
point.
as important as if you genuinely were like, I am a
Wow.
bad person, but you believe you are a
Wow.
bad person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so brilliant. You've just enlightened me there. So you're right, because my intention when I say things is a program from my teachers and from everybody who said you're not good enough, you're an idiot. Da 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 da. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
repeat what they told me, but deep down, do I really think I'm an idiot? No, I don't think I'm an idiot. I don't think I'm a
Exactly.
genius. But when I say, oh, that way where we attack ourselves, but we don't know we're doing it. Maybe it's a comfort thing. I don't know. Maybe we're just comforting that feeling, so we're not upsetting people. Instead of saying I'm brilliant, like my partner says I'm amazing, and like, oh, really? But
Exactly.
now I realize it's beautiful. And why is it that we should always feel comfortable by saying negative things about ourselves, or are we just people pleasing?
Yeah, that's been one of my biggest problems that I've recently uncovered, actually, is that I have always done things to people please and tried what I thought was being a good person. I was just manipulating people by trying to pretend to be nice so that they would like me, but I
Right.
wasn't actually doing it out of the kindness of my heart. It's different to be a good person just to do it than to do it to get get some reaction or feel validated
Yes.
from the
Makes
other
sense.
person. So that's
Totally.
kind of what I've been learning.
That's brilliant. And how far do you feel, if there was a scale between 1 and 1,000, how far do you feel you are up in that scale for, walking a path and you're going to get to the top of that mountain? How far do you feel you are? And does it change from day to day?
Um, I don't, I mean, it definitely changes from day to day, but I definitely feel like I have a lot to learn because I feel like I'm a different person
Mhm.
in a good way very often because I'm always growing and just kind of experiencing more things. And there's no way for me to really know how far I could get, I guess.
Brilliant.
But I don't feel as though I've really tapped into my full potential because I'm just now allowing myself to do it because I had been doing what you just said. I would basically self sabotage myself
Yes.
because I didn't want to seem cocky or like I'm egotistical and I feel like I'm better than people or I want because I want to achieve something. I would rather just lay low and pretend or make bad comments about myself just to like make other people feel at ease, you know what I'm saying? So
No, totally get it. Yeah.
I've always done that. And this year, I don't know, something clicked for me recently, like it right when you asked me to do this, right before that, like I don't know. I
Hmm.
just finally, like, I guess I just broke free from the belief that I had to like keep worrying about what other people wanted me to do with my life. Like
The
that just been
program.
killing me.
It was the program that we've all
Yeah.
got. We've all been programmed to be like that. I think
Yeah.
most of us have. So that's great. So, well, I'd like to just go through a few things. First of all, I did mention that I believe that your friends and followers and subscribers are all organic. I've never seen you do anything that has like made me think, oof, that's a bit heavy. You've always been true to yourself. I've seen nothing but your openness on this channel. I see that you like nature. I mean, it's a little bit obvious because you feel at comfort when you're speaking where your trees, and yeah, I think you're definitely that kind of energy. You're a connector. I think the trees give you a lot of energy and strength as well. I think that's lovely to see. One of your kind of messages is to, I believe, anybody. I don't think it's just to kids your age. I think that anybody, and you talk a lot about take your power back. You mentioned taking your power back, and what's the other thing? The old you doesn't exist or something like that.
Yeah, that was
And
one of
I
my
find that,
recent videos. Yes.
yeah. So what do you mean by that? Because I actually like that topic. The old you doesn't
Yes.
exist. Is that at any given moment, or are you talking about way back then or now?
Both. Yes. The me from the beginning of our conversation doesn't exist now
Brilliant.
because, well, we've both, you know, hopefully we will grow from this conversation.
Yeah.
It's an energy exchange between
Mm.
two people. It is
Yeah.
crazy that we can do this, by the way, just putting that out there, because like back in the day, even in your lifetime, you weren't able to just call me up and video chat like that.
Yeah.
That's why I do this, because I feel like I'm blessed with this opportunity. Like I feel like more young people should realize, like, people couldn't just have a job making videos. But anyways, what was the question again? That was a good topic. Oh yeah,
Uh,
yes. Identity shifting. Basically, the old you doesn't exist.
yeah.
Um, that's why I got rid of my name. I guess originally I didn't know I was doing it. It was kind of like the concept is pretty much that you at any moment can shift into a different person if you believe you are that person. If you start to do the actions of what you think would be the best version of you, eventually you kind of just become that over time. It But even in a moment to moment, if you finally let go of a belief that's just been weighing you down,
Yeah.
you are a different person. And also I think it helps people, especially me. I felt like I was a bad person, and I believed that for a period of time because of, whatever it was. But if I know the old me doesn't really exist, because I can't go back in the past and change it, like there's nothing I can do about that. All I can do about is what happens right now. And even the future will only happen right now. So in each moment, if I just make a decision to be a good person or just like do my very best, I see no reason why God, the universe, whatever, would, if it actually is just, if that's the only thing that's just in this crazy world we're seeing, why wouldn't you succeed if you actually listen when it speaks? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, so many people feel trapped in their old boxed in identity. They feel like they're just stuck in a job they hate.
Yeah.
They don't want that life. And that's really what inspires me, is that I don't want to do that, and I don't want to see other people do that if they don't want to. Yes, there are some people that are fine with that, but like if you have that fire within you to do something else, the old you that's so tied to that, like you said, it's just a program that you've just been accepting. If you just stopped accepting it and trusted, when you get that feeling in your heart to do something and actually do it, it just stuff starts working. Like I just felt like that's what's happened to me recently is I finally listened even when it's scary. You know, I feel like that's where people mess up is they get scared, and you know it's
Yeah.
terrifying to put yourself out there or do a new thing,
Mm.
but you will be rewarded even if it doesn't seem like it in the moment. But
That's so
yeah.
true. That's so true. Normally, your reward comes way, way down the line, and it makes a lot of sense in the end. It always makes sense in the end, but while you're doing it, it's always a struggle. And people want to make sense of something straight away because they feel that they've not got the answers. And if you haven't got the answers, that means that you're not correct, you're not right. And this again, school programming. So universal crystals. That's a really interesting subject. So you've made a YouTube channel, and it's Universal Crystals, and it's on the topics of, just like I said, take your power back, the old you doesn't exist, and crystals themselves. What's your favorite topics, or do you just walk a path of life and then all of a sudden you've got this idea to talk about something because it's affected you and you want to share it? How do you do it? Which is your most easiest videos? When is it just when you just talk about something, or do you plan it and write it down and study it and then do it? How's the process for you?
Well, early on, I would say I just kind of had a lot of topics I wanted to talk about, or just had been seeing other people make videos, and I kind of just wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But I was already kind of putting my own spin on that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of slowly have learned how to do it. So now whenever I have an idea, I just get on my phone and go to the notes app and type in like that idea. And then I just normally have a few bullet points on my phone before I
Brilliant.
record, but I
Brilliant.
don't actually like script it. It just comes out natural.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if people watch my videos, you can tell I don't really
Well,
script it
yeah, I
because
can.
you would be
I
able
want
to.
to confirm it. Yeah, no, I just wanted to confirm
Yeah.
that you're absolutely right, and
But
that's
yeah.
why I like you. That's why I'm drawn to you, and I say this on my channel that most people script everything, talk about something because they've got a hidden agenda. And you can feel it and you can see it, and it's like, yeah, okay, mate, we know exactly. And then, but you just speak from your heart, and I think more and more people are actually following that now and starting to wake up to that. So I hope that you never change ever. Health and well, no, I do hope you change. I hope you change all the time, because you do change
Yes,
all the
I know
time.
what you
But you
mean,
know
but
what I
yeah.
mean. We don't fall into the script energy, to that kind of energy.
No.
So I'd like to ask you about health on a level of physical, what you eat, what you drink. Are you noticing, even at your age, because at my age, I didn't even think about that, but are you thinking about health at all? And have you thought about your health and how what you put into your mouth and makes a difference to your life? Or do you just eat anything? I'm definitely not. I don't care what you eat, by the way. I'm interested, and so will people who
Yeah.
are watching it. What do you feel? What's your normal diet? Have you tried different diets? Is it made any difference? Have you got anything that you would want to say about it that might help people? Anything like that?
Yeah, I would say when I first awakened, I just completely changed my diet to trying to be really healthy. Then I kind of went back and forth. And
Yeah.
now I would say, I mean, I've always had a very fast metabolism. I'm very skinny and I'm still young. So I can really pretty much eat whatever I want. And I don't really gain weight or really do much. But I am conscious about specific things, such as you know, we're not going to go into it, the
Yeah.
water, the
Yeah.
water.
So you understand water and
Yeah.
corporation water, tap water,
Yes.
and spring water, and you
Oh yeah.
understand that. Brilliant.
Yes.
So you're conscious of that. That's nice.
And
So
the
you
soap, I use natural shampoos and
brilliant.
soaps and stuff like
You've
that.
got a nice head of hair. So have I.
Thank
Well,
you.
I
You
used to
do.
have a nice head of hair. My hair was as long as yours when I was younger. But yeah, all right. So That's
But my
great to
diet
hear.
isn't great. I would say I try my best to eat healthy, but I'm not like definitely not great. But I plan on growing in that area of my life. I'm trying to start, being more physically active and stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
this year for sure.
So you're becoming more conscious to things like that, which is a
Yes.
brilliant thing. Like I said, I didn't even understand it till I was 38. So you're way ahead of me. What's your take on relationships of people of your age? Do you want me to explain what that means? Like for me, right? When I was younger, right, I went to America once, and relationships were the most strangest thing I ever saw, because it was like, oh, should we get together and like, and it was like, let's go out for a coffee almost, and it was like, I like, for me, a relationship is, I need to get to know you first. I want to understand it, and like, is that like that as your age, or is there now a stronger bond and people talk about, well, how does it work where you are with relationships?
I think it's actually gotten worse. If it wasn't good when it was your time, I don't. It's definitely gotten worse. I think because of the social media aspect of things, that people are always able to see someone else on their phone that possibly they could pursue. So it's very hard for people to appreciate their relationships. That's the first part. But in terms of like, I've only had really one long-term relationship because of that. I've had some on and off things with other girls, but like only one long-term girlfriend really, and that that was like from high school and
Yeah,
early on. But now I see a lot of things turning into about, money, fame. It's always been about money and fame, but now with social media, like the wrong people. You get what I'm saying? But
yeah,
they're good people. You
yeah,
just got to find them. But I feel like it's kind of, people are being trained to value the wrong things, which leads the people that value the right things, like, where are the people that match up with me, and where are the people that
wow,
connect on a deep level? But I have found that before, like, it maybe not like the perfect person, but I have been able to at least speak with people. But it's easier for me because I have a platform like this where people know what I'm about because I talk about it. But like just an average person, I imagine it's very hard for me. And I have 10,000 potential people to speak to, and I still can't really connect with anybody yet. So it's definitely hard, and I feel like a lot of people are really lonely right now, and they didn't help with whatever all they did. So
totally.
that's part of the reason that I'm trying to speak out, because I was one of those people who became very lonely, very depressed, very angry, making excuses, and then I eventually climbed out of that, and I'm still doing that. But it's it's a tough time for my generation. It really is. A lot of people are sad.
Yeah, when you're watching the likes of all the famous stars singing about booties and all of the stuff that you need to have the bling. We called it bling then. I don't know what you call it, but
Hey, we still
pe-
got it. We still got it. We just
yeah,
got crystals.
yeah, that's not bling. I'm talking about the big, thick
Oh, I know.
gold
I know.
and all
I
that
know what you
stuff,
mean.
and also matching up with somebody who is also famous. So then the younger generation look for somebody else in what you've just said. They're looking for the wrong reasons and for the wrong people because of what they're being told to by their media and by what they're pumping out. So I
Uh,
guess nothing much has changed. All right, it's got a bit worse. So there is struggle for there is struggle for kids who
There's
are trying.
hope, though. There's hope. I don't want to. I don't
Bloody
want to
hope
make people
so.
feel down. There
No,
is
no,
hope,
there is,
but
there is.
from what I've seen, it appears to be bad. From what I've seen, people normally your age are always telling me it was way better. So to hear it was not great for you, I'm like, well, it must be even worse now.
I spent between the age of a a teenager upwards trying to find somebody that I could fall in love with, and I
Yes,
just couldn't find
I've
anybody.
been there. I've been
I
there.
just couldn't find anybody. It's like, and I felt, and it made me feel sicker. And what's wrong with me? And why am I feeling like this? But you know what? Eventually, it just happened, and I can tell you this dead simple. I'm in a hairdressing salon, working as a hairdresser. I, I liked everybody apart from one girl. She used to wind me up because we were both on the same kind of level of our hairdressing. So we both wanted to move up to the next level. So it was like competition. And I'm cutting this client's hair, and so is this girl cutting. And this client said to me, "Oh, isn't she pretty over there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she's pretty. Yeah, that's my competition." Right. And anyway, I carried on. And then my next client came in, and then she said, "Oh, isn't that girl pretty?" I went, "Yeah, yeah, she's pretty. Yeah, yeah." And then the third client came in the same day and says, "Oh, isn't she pretty?" And I went, "Yeah, she is pretty, actually." And I ended up marrying. I ended up marrying her, being with her for
Oh
7 years. And prior to that, I had no love at all. It was like, I was like, "What's wrong with me?" You know what I mean? Why can't I find somebody? Am I destined to not love? But you know what? The right love comes at the right
Yeah.
time. That would be my message to all people, beautiful souls like you. Empath advice. So if you are talking to other um, teenagers, mums, dads who have never really had the experience of understanding, and they're also empaths, even when they get to 60, they can still be sensitive and not know what to do with it. What would you say to like a friend who sat with you and said, "I don't know what to do. I'm so sensitive in life. Everything that I feel is I feel destroyed all the time. I feel down. I feel sad because of what I see in the world and feel." What would you do? Would you give them a cuddle, and would you give them any advice? At this moment, anyway.
Well, I tend to be as an empath myself, I tend to be very sensitive, and I would want to tell them, it's not your fault, it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
But for me personally, when I finally was able to get over that issue is when I stopped making excuses and feeling bad for myself and saying, why do I feel everybody's pain? But it would be that would be the advice that because that's what I did myself, but maybe they wouldn't want to hear that. And that's
true, true.
because I am sensitive. I would want to say, you know, you're doing all right. It's gonna be fine. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
But I just know that I'm able to take it, I guess. So
Mm.
I don't know.
Well,
But
as you get older, you're able to say things with a little bit more confidence.
but
When you're
I'm
younger,
getting
it's
there. I'm getting there. Yeah.
I
But I
with
guess I
my
kind of
client.
did say that without saying
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Well, thank you for that. That's great. Angels,
But it is
God,
well, I would like to add one
sure,
quick
please,
thing to that.
please.
It is a real thing though. I would also like to say that you have to realize it's a lot of you feel a lot of like it's other people's own uh like that some people will try like you have like a bright energy and they will try and like steal from it almost. It's not like you don't have to like walk around paranoid, but just be aware that like it's not your fault. You should take it as a compliment if someone's like throwing negativity at you. Sometimes I know it's like fuel to the fire. It's like absorb it, you transmute it because energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred, transmuted. That's what I'm saying you should do. You should transmute the negativity and use it for good. But you know i'm I've finally gotten to that place, but I've been in that place where I just felt so down. So it's not like something where you have to rush it. And I'm saying just get over it. But like you'll
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
learn that your empathy is a superpower. You'll be able to
absolutely.
like feel when something's right or something's wrong. That's how I knew I needed to make these videos, how I knew so many things that because I could feel it so deeply, like I couldn't sleep if I didn't make this channel. Like
Wow.
I
Wow.
couldn't eat. Like I couldn't live
Wow.
with myself. Like I can't, like, that's what I mean. I literally couldn't. So it's like, there
That's
is no
great.
other option. There is no, that's how, but you have a lot of these people watching probably have something they feel they really need to do, but they're thinking, well, I'm too scared. Maybe that's a sign I shouldn't do it. But you have to just, that's not the same as trusting your intuition. You know, it's, you have to, you'll know yourself. They'll trust your own intuition. I can't tell you, but you'll know.
True, true. It's like everybody has their moment where the penny drops and oh my God moment. And
Yeah,
there's nothing much
exactly.
we can do apart from keep sharing that till the penny drops almost. Right.
Exactly.
And you have to trust in that as well. Same with me. It's like I don't push myself when I make mistakes and I do things wrong. I don't say, okay, I need to change now. I just say I recognize it and say, hopefully in the future I'll see it for what it is. Because for me, I think one of the reasons why we don't change a certain pattern is because we don't see why we need to change that pattern. So it keeps coming up until one day we can, okay, I've been through it all. Now I get it. So I don't think, like you said, you can't say, come on, pull yourself out of it. You know, it's like that ain't
Yeah.
going to work. And a father to a son, that doesn't work. You know, it's the encouragement to help them keep going in them moments. But you're absolutely right. Where do you see the world going from here, Eli?
I think that it will look maybe bad, but it will be good at the same time. I feel like that's what's been going on. Is it's kind of a, it's just a reflection of our own inner, a lot of people's inner worlds right now as they're kind of breaking out of this program, and everyone else is kind of seeing it for what it is now, because it's, no one was going to be convinced if it didn't, if it wasn't bad. Like people wouldn't care. They wouldn't have, I wouldn't have even looked into this. You know, that's originally, I guess, how I began. Was I got so, like, that's how I awakened in a way, I guess you could say, was to what was going on in the mainstream media, and like how I had believed all this stuff my whole life. And I was kind of like, wow, I got to do something about this. And that kind of led me to finding spirituality and just
So
crystals and
it
all
was a
that.
good thing then. It was a good
Yeah, so
thing
that's what I
that
think.
happened.
So like all the stuff that is so bad, that's making so many people awaken, and there's really nothing they can do to stop it anyways. It's going to happen, and eventually it will happen. I don't know how it's going to occur, but I do see the world awakening
Yeah,
collectively, and I think it is happening. It's been
yeah.
happening. I've been
It's
trying to tell people this for years, and now
how
some
you have.
people are finally going, you know, maybe he was right. Maybe
Yeah.
I shouldn't have told him that he was an idiot. But I don't take it personally, because I would have said
That's
the
good.
same thing to myself. So
Yeah.
like I get it. But like I do know there's some people now that are like watching my videos, or I just know they are too prideful to tell me, but
Yeah.
they agree now.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment. I mean, like I was sat down, just I watched in Spain, there's a lot of well, all over the world, there's a lot of animal cruelty. And while I was sat having just a quick drink before here, I witnessed a guy, an elderly guy, and his dog wasn't behaving how he wanted him to. So he kept hitting him and he kept hitting him. And then as I'm watching, I'm like, I'm going to get up now and say something. I'm going to get up and say something. And he hit him one more time and the dog bit him and he drew blood. And I smiled and thought, this is kind of what's happening to the world now, in the sense of those that are causing the harm in the world are like that man, and we are all the puppies that now are turning and biting back, and we're having no more of it. And I thought eventually that's what's going to happen. And so even if you go and stop it, maybe if I didn't stop it, maybe the dog then had the courage to say enough is enough. So it's like, I don't need anymore to tell people to stand up. I just know that eventually they're going to get hit at a point where they can't cope with it anymore and bite back. And I think we're seeing that a little bit. Do you think that? Seeing it a little bit more?
Yes, and I don't know, it just came to me right now as well that the right people that are supposed to find out will, you know? So it's like, it's going to happen whether it's through me, through you. I think it will.
Or
They
within
will.
their own, or within their
Yeah.
own experiences?
Yeah. They will find out if they are meant to find out. But at the same time, I think we can still do our best to not scare people, but to inspire them to, you know,
Well, I
to
can
live their
hold my
life
hand up and say I've
through
scared a lot of
fear.
people. No, I didn't mean to,
No.
but I think I have.
But not you. I
No.
respect what you did. You know, I think you're actually doing the right thing. It's the people that want to pretend to be righteous by going along with what everyone else says that are the real, what you could call, you know, bad people. You know, I don't really think that, but we all have our reasons for doing things. They really think they're right. They want to fit in. That's why they're doing it. But
Well,
it's just a program.
their answer to that,
Maybe not the people at the
that
top, but you know, just the basic people.
exactly. Their answer to that, Eli, is that you can darkness cannot clear darkness. Only light can clear darkness. So that's their spiritual argument against me saying, well, I'm only sharing what I see as the truth. And they say, no, that's darkness. And I say, is darkness light in itself? Does it, like, I am sharing truth, which may look as darkness, but once you see it, it becomes almost like, okay, now I see the light. So it's a tough one because it's hard to please everybody. And I have so many people, I don't know if you do, and I don't know how many videos you've done on speaking the truth about what you see, but a lot of people believe that if you share a certain topic that is taboo and we shouldn't talk about it because it goes against the narrative, then you are feeding the same narrative and the same darkness. There's an argument in that. But I try and contradict that argument by saying, if I see somebody hitting somebody on a street, what do? Sit down and send love to it? Or do I go and say, excuse me, I don't feel that's right. I think maybe, you know, please don't do that because it isn't right. Or do I just sit there and let it happen because somebody will say, oh, if you go over there and say anything, then that man's going to be even more angry with his child or more angry. So there's no common ground here, that there's no respect. So those who are preaching light and only light refuse to look at any kind of physical action or physical or words that come out to say it, but they counter it by love and meditation, and that's the only way they believe. What do you feel about all of that? Do you think they're both right, or one's right, one's wrong, or they're both right and wrong?
I don't know. That is something that I've struggled with personally because I have made videos speaking out, and then I've thought the same thing where I'm like, am I feeding it? I don't know. But I don't think that, like, if people didn't say that, would I even be aware of how I could possibly be feeding this, because I wouldn't even know how I was being programmed. So it's like, somebody's got to say something. And a lot of people now, I think, are being more like, I think it's got so bad, at least for me. Like, I've definitely seen, like, it's like almost like, if you don't speak out now, like, what are you doing? Because it's just, but it makes it very difficult to speak out because on platforms such as YouTube, you can't. So it's like, to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I've definitely struggled with that myself, and I don't really know where I stand on it, but I do stand with you, I guess. But like, I do think on some level we have to fight back. We can't just back down. We can't just submit to authority. You know, we can't just continue to allow these things to keep happening, because, you know, if we just sit there in our little group with the people who already know about this, then are we really helping anybody at all? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And when we look at history and we see that the Buddhist monks have been massacred hugely over history, and then you wonder, well, they were all probably meditating and sending love, and yet they were massacred, you know? So, you know, I like to look at things in a practical way as well. I like to look at everything as it is, not just, you know, spirituality and that's the answer to everything, and just turn to God and, you know, and use God as a word that can protect your fear, or push your arguments and anger onto people and weaknesses. I look at a life as it shows me. Now, you know, it's like I said this before, and I'll keep saying it. If I see something happening in front of me and I know it's wrong, I have to do something. I can't just not do something, because I will get hurt inside me for not doing something. So I need to do something right. And if somebody's telling me that they're stood next to me and they don't feel anything from what's happening there, they don't feel anything or no pain, then there's something wrong with them, in my opinion. They've obviously got no compassion, no feeling. So what's the difference watching it on a social media and seeing it in front of you? It's the same thing. So when people say to me, you shouldn't react like that, you should send love, I say that makes no sense. It makes no sense to me at all, because nothing changes, because we're here with a physical body to move our arms, to speak, to hear, to listen, to see, and then our reaction is what we will be judged for by our own self when we move into the light, if you believe in that. But this is how I see it. So do I turn away from injustice? No, I don't. Do I turn, like, it's different if somebody's got two machetes and is coming towards, like, what do? You know, you're going to get killed. Then you go into this mode of protection, save yourself as much as you can. But I would attack. I'd probably, if I know somebody else is going to get, if he's going to try and kill somebody, I'm going to look for something to fight back. I'm not going to run away. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I can't live with myself knowing that I run away and say children and mothers got, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't live like, so it's strange how, you know, how there is a force out there that's trying to stop us from doing what I believe is the right thing by claiming to be spiritual. This is what I struggle with.
Yes, I do agree. It makes it, I wouldn't even have probably made my videos, because I completely agree with you. It makes me so mad that I have to do something. It's like, so I'm the exact same way. I think I used to try and I wanted to be nice, because what you said, I've received messages from people. If I've tried to speak out, I'm unfollowing you. I can't believe you would say something like that. I thought you were a good person. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, I think that's hilarious now looking back on it. But it's like, people really see it as that, and I think that is a problem in the so-called spiritual community. Is people think you have to just only be nice, and we have to just submit to everything that's going on and just let it slide.
Yeah.
And
I
the only
was,
reason I would be going crazy on YouTube if I could, but
yeah.
as you know, like, especially now, I would definitely be doing it, but
Yeah.
it's just not possible.
No, it's not. You'll be taken off straight away, especially you, because you're natural and you're doing it from a good heart. So if you're doing it for money and you're making podcasts and you're number one podcaster, then
Yes, if
then
they
you're
can buy
okay.
you
You don't
out.
need to worry. But this is how I see it. And a final note on that subject: those people that claim to be spiritual and always telling you and I and many others, I can't believe you like that. They remind me of Independence Day, when everybody was running and a few went up to the top of a building with big signs saying, "We love you, welcome to our planet." And then all of a sudden the UFO just blasted them, right? And I think, you know, it feels to me like some people just don't get it, even when it's in their face, because they're so in this energy of you cannot be negative, you cannot fight for something, you've got to be this. And that's why I struggle with people like that. But you're 20 odd years old and you now find it funny that people are doing that. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty special, my friend, because you're right. It's a reflection of who they are and their weaknesses to be able to get up and do something. So they're trying to make you be like them, just like an alcoholic wants you to drink when you go out with them and you say no. So I'd like to ask you one last thing before we go. It's been a pleasure, by the way. It's been just bloody great.
Thank you for having me on, by the way.
It's been great. What's your take on the words angels, God, or your understanding of that, of those two things, angels and God? What do you see that as, or how do you interpret that in your own world, in your thoughts?
Well, I grew up. I mean, I'm in the United States, which in my area, I'm in the South, which is basically all Christianity, like very heavily. Like it's very, especially growing up. Like I would be surprised if someone wasn't a Christian.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, I just kind of grew up in that mindset. But you know, I guess my church wasn't quite as, they didn't really say like you're going to hell all the time or stuff like that.
It's good.
So I never really was as, they would mention it, but I wasn't as afraid. Uh, like I don't know, just some of the views of Christianity that I really don't agree with. Wasn't really exposed to that, so I was kind of just like believing in something that I didn't really know what it was. I still didn't necessarily agree with it, but it didn't bother me as much at that age. So I guess I got some aspects of like the good parts of Christianity when I was young, and then I kind of changed my viewpoint as I got older. Even when I was young, I think I would ask people in church questions about God that other kids would not dare ask because I would be the only one questioning what they were telling me.
Yeah.
And I do remember that, and like even my great grandparents who went to that church at the time, and my grandparents and all these people, they would, you know, they thought it was funny how I would question, you know, the stuff at the church, and I didn't even realize. Like I don't know, it just seemed normal to me. It didn't make sense how people just believed it was some sort of you know, big man with a beard in the sky. That's what I imagined God as when I was a little kid, but it just didn't align with me. Like I knew, like I've always had this belief in something bigger, and a belief that like I am part of something, and like I've always had like a connection to something, and like many decisions in my life I would just think, oh, it must be God telling me to do this or whatever. But it's not. I guess my view on God now is more of a spirit, source, soul. I don't know many words you could describe it as, but I just kind of, I don't view it the same. Like the strict parts of religion I don't agree with, but I do kind of believe every in a higher force, and that angels, as you asked, what I believe angels are like, can come in many different forms. And I have a video on my channel talk, like I had like this person come up next to me when I was going through something, and like they weren't talking to me, but they were on the phone with somebody, and they're like basically saying things that I needed to hear in that moment, but I didn't even look at them. And they never, I mean, they weren't speaking to me, but it was like got the message.
Wow.
And that was like my version of an angel communicating with
Amazing.
me. And I'm like always communicating with angels. It's crazy. I feel like that's my biggest asset, is I've always had like this kind of weird, what I would think is like luck or something. But like, I don't know. I'm very like blessed, I guess. Like people like I can just, but I went through a very terrible time
Yeah.
before my awakening, like it where I was very unlucky and nothing worked. So I could like learn what was really going on. But like ever since I started like listening, I guess, to God, like I feel like I'm always protected by something. And that's why I don't worry. Like I used to always worry about these little things and people trying to, like, if I do get big on YouTube, are people going to try and expose me as a fraud? Or
Yeah.
like, are people going to like pull up like old text messages with
Yeah.
me, or
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Wow.
try and
Yeah.
bring me down? And they
Wow.
probably will. They have. People
Mm.
have done that kind of crap to me before I even had a YouTube channel, posted
Right.
it online, and
Yeah.
you know, and all of that just kind of bounces off of me. I don't know, like that's kind of what I feel like. I just trust in everything,
Yeah.
and
And being true
I
to
guess I
yourself.
couldn't worry because I everything has already happened to me. All the
Mm.
biggest shots have already been fired at me, so I just have
Brilliant.
nothing to lose.
Brilliant. 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 And you know, when you are true to yourself, then you have nothing to worry about what people say about you, because everything that you say is your truth. So if you stand by what you're saying, then you've got nothing to fear. I've said terrible things, but I stand by them, and I meant them at the time, you know, and things that I, you know, but there's nothing that I wish I hadn't said, because it's my truth. And if somebody pulls that up
Yeah,
from the past and shows people, I don't care really, because at the end of the
yeah,
day, people are going to judge you anyway. And people, humanity is very, they are masters at judging. They are masters at judging quickly, instantly. And that's it. They've weighed you up. They've hung, drawn, and quartered you before you've even said your second word. So you get used to that kind of thing. But it's nice that you have a belief system in whatever it may be, whether it's God, whether it's your angels. At the end of the day, for me, it used to be important. Now it's not important. I know there's a universal something, and it's there. And
yeah.
if you listen hard enough, there is one point I'd like to raise with you. How do you
All
know
right.
when your angels are talking to you and when your intuition, your true higher self is talking to you? Do you have any? Do
Many.
you know?
Yes, for sure. Well, I mean, I definitely just feel it for one, and definitely in my heart, I just feel it. But I get like, angel numbers, repeating numbers all the time. Like it's like before we got on here, like probably 5 times today. Like it's weird how often. That's probably my biggest thing, is I see the numbers all the time,
What
and
does the
just
numbers mean then? Do the numbers mean like your angels are watching you? So if you see double numbers, that you know you're. I don't know how it works. You see that.
I don't really, I don't, I've never been one to assign specific meaning. I more so just always see it as like a good sign, like I'm on the right
Nice.
path, or
Me
like
too.
it's like
Me
just,
too.
another
Yeah.
confirmation. Like
Confirmation.
I don't like to, look up the meaning, because
Yeah.
it can be your meaning. If I tell them I want to see this at this, and then I see that,
Yeah.
well, then
Yeah.
that's what it means. It's not,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Maybe you're
I'm
right.
not
Maybe
like
that's
a,
what it is.
yeah,
Maybe whatever we see is for our own self
yeah.
to see and figure out.
Because the higher version of you that I
Yeah.
guess maybe I believe would have chosen to be me,
Yeah.
they know what I'm gonna take the meaning from. That's how I think it is with dreams too. Like it's like they know what meaning you're gonna take from the dream, so you don't need to look up the meaning of the dream,
You got to figure it
because
out.
it's meant for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a really golden nugget of truth. It really is. Do you know what, Eli? I think you're an amazing soul, and please
Appreciate
forgive
it.
me if you get 1,000 phone calls wanting to take you out on a date after this. But what I would like to say to my audience, my friends, and all the people who come to this channel, I would love for you all to have a new friend today. Yeah, have a new friend, Eli. Go to his. Have you got a website?
Mm-hmm.
So no website.
I do have a website, but it's universalcrystalsforever.com. But
Good.
mainly just go to YouTube,
Brilliant. That's what
Universal
I was going to say.
Crystals. And then I also have Instagram, Universal Crystals 1111.
Yeah.
But mainly YouTube, and you can find all my links on YouTube.
I'll put the links below on here. And just as a final note, before you go, I just yeah, I might as well just say, send me your details of home, and I'll send you a box of crystals and some oils and incense as a thank you for doing this, because this is universal exchange. I'd like to give back for your time, and I hope you accept it with love. And also for you guys out there,
don't cut it off though. I gotta say my thank you though. So don't.
All right. Well,
before you end it.
Okay. So all right, everybody out there, if you go and subscribe to both those channels, which is YouTube and Instagram, and come back or go straight to your last video. No, I'll put it up on my, come to this video and say, Eli is a beautiful soul, and I've got to get this right. And I've subscribed to both. I will take 5 of the most beautiful crystals and choose randomly 5 of you to have a beautiful crystal, just so we can support the true souls of this world. So Eli, I want to say thank you with all my heart. It's been an absolute blooming pleasure.
Thank you. But seriously, genuinely, I really appreciate this, because like I watched you got me into Moldavite, like, which is some of my
don't
biggest
blame me then if your girlfriend left you.
But no, it was a great blessing. And like just so many great things from you. I've always wanted to speak to you. This has been amazing. So like you don't really pop, there's probably no way you could know how, like, this is a big sign for me. You asking me, like, that's confirmation from the universe, I guess you could say, that I'm on the right path, because it doesn't matter if other people think I'm doing the right thing, you do. So it's like confirmation, you know?
Well, it is, but the only thing that really truly matters is that you know. And you
yes.
So I am very thankful, and we'll do a part 2 shortly and see where we go with this. And please stay in touch, and enjoy all my beautiful friends who are going to come and become your beautiful friends. And take care of yourself this year, and a great start to the new year. This first interview with one of the most beautiful souls in the world. Let us not forget that it's important to support the real, true, beautiful warriors of this world and our younger generation. So take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care. Bye, Eli.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll see you soon.
You will.